Hello.
Hey there.
Welcome to the maiden voyage.
The maiden voyage.
Of the Cheeseburger Boys Podcast.
Podcast Supreme.
Podcasto Supremo. Yeah. So we wanted to talk about everything, anything, nothing in particular.
Satisfies urges we have.
Absolutely.
Technology and ego and such.
Science and art.
Science. Yeah, this is it. We're upstairs. We're upstairs in my room.
Well, how about this? Who are you?
Oh man. Who am I? I'm Novel. Everybody calls me Novel mostly nowadays. I have a name on my driver's license that isn't that. We can get into that maybe in later episodes.
That's right.
Yeah, my name's Novel. I'm 33 and I live upstairs in this house with my four roommates. One of whom is Kyle.
That's me.
There's the other guy here.
I don't live upstairs.
He doesn't. He lives in a tent with Fran.
That's the girlfriend.
That's
yes.
his girlfriend. And they have a dog, and her name is Diesel. We call her Cheese. Fran is a dog. His name's Dupree.
Dupree.
We call him all kinds of terrible names.
Yeah.
I have a dog. Her name's Petunia. Mary lives here. Mary doesn't have a dog, and Barry lives here. And if you ask Barry, he has two cats, and their names are Shapiphany and Hambone.
I like to call Hambone pork soda, but that's another story.
I like to call Shapiphany Poop Nose. That's also another story. We should write that down as another stories for later.
Yeah, the poop nose story.
Yeah, we all live here. We live in California. We
have fun.
I've known Kyle and Fran for coming on. In April, it'll be 7 years. 7 years. And we went from bums with Chevrolets at a rainbow gathering in 2011. Now we're trying to pay off 4-point-something acres here in California with this house. It can be one of our forever homes.
It could be a forever home.
It's been a long 7 years of stuff and growth, and here we are now doing podcasts.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, so that's a pretty good, I think, introduction to us. We got our names, rank, serial number, all that good stuff. What's on the agenda? What do we want to?
I mean, there's so much agenda to talk about. I mean, what's the purpose of this? The future? Is it to just truly be like a Seinfeld-esque rambling of nothing? You know, like, is there a purpose every day? I feel like the things that we'll talk about are influenced by like things that are pertinent in our lives. Obviously it's music. Kyle plays the guitar. Kyle's the lead guitar player in a pretty sweet band. I play the drums as well. I like read a lot of comic books and spend a lot of time hassling people on the internet. Different things are going to like pique our interest as these times go by. Like today, this is the inaugural one. I don't know. I figured, through happenstance, we'd probably spend a lot of time elaborating about our intents and getting it out that this is something like, I don't know, getting the feel for it, Yeah. I don't really know what we're doing. I mean, I asked the internet what we should talk about. I have lots of things that we could talk about.
Well, what did the internet have to say?
Oh shit, I gotta pull it up. The internet says they would probably listen, which I took as a good sign, because if everyone was like, I wouldn't listen, then maybe I would be less inclined to do this. Oh geez, there's scrolling. I got scrolling. See, I wasn't so prepared for this. Where's it gonna be?
I think that's gonna be a
prep. Right? Oh, I think I found it.
It's probably gonna be a theme of being unprepared for this.
Yeah, no. All right, I got it.
Very. We don't know what we're doing.
People said, what would be the best useless superpower?
Best useless superpower.
Yeah, it's a game.
That's a tricky one.
That comes from my good friend Finch from the internet.
Oh, Finch. Hey, Finch.
We played this game in the woods before. It's like, I could take the poop out of you, but put it into someone else or something like that. It's not a good.
I can make my eyelashes grow extra long really quickly.
But that could have an advantage.
Sure, yeah, a sandstorm useless. Or something like that.
Yeah, it's a complicated one. Like, I don't know. There's so many of these. How to address the worldwide chocolate shortage. I didn't know there was a chocolate shortage because I feel like here in America, plenty of chocolate everywhere I look.
Chocolate.
So maybe that's just my privilege.
Maybe.
Chocolate privilege.
I don't really keep too close tabs on the chocolate community. It's not
Someone
really...
wanted to know about dogs. Is he the Antichrist? Those are boring. Those Ricky, I'm sorry. I'm going to skip over all your questions. Someone wants milkshakes versus smoothies. A smoothie is fruit and ice based, and a milkshake is...
I think, okay, so a milkshake, you got to have ice cream in.
It has to have ice cream.
I feel like it has to have
that makes
ice cream.
sense.
But a smoothie, it's really kind of just dealer's choice. You know, put fruit in there, put juice, yogurt.
Can it have ice cream in it? If it has ice cream, it's not a smoothie?
I don't know. If there's any smoothie experts that are listening, we're going to have to get them to weigh in on this.
Yeah, definitely. I don't... Like a Jamba Juice employee or something.
Yeah.
So I have a good friend, Sarah Joy. She's wise, and she pays attention to things, and she has a good whole chunk here. So we'll just chip through them. They just cloned some two Chinese monkeys. They cloned the monkeys with the same technology they used to clone Dolly the sheep back in the 90s or whatever.
I remember that.
It's like a big ripples or whatever, because now that they've cloned that primate, it's much closer to our genetic material. Ramifications of that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone had already been cloned like at least a decade ago, like in China or something.
I also remember when the Dolly thing happened when I was growing up, everybody had the same reaction. Well, they're going to start cloning people now. You know, it was, I don't think I heard any news about any people being cloned, but I don't see what,
Would
you know.
you?
Yeah, not from my news sources anyway.
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely. I don't think that we have like some fucking amazing links to super investigative journalists that like no one knows about, like fucking dark web journalism.
Dark web journalism. Yeah, I don't have my finger on the pulse of that either.
I think that cloning is... I can conceive of many benefits, you know. Oh shit, I'm all sick. Like, I need another kidney. A kidney from my clone. There we go.
Keep one in the freezer in case you need a lung or a kidney or something.
You know, just pop a clone out. There's, you know, obvious disadvantages to that too. At what point are you like, you know, oh, there's the thing of am I the clone? Or is the clone,
I saw that movie.
The clone me, right? That's a good movie. It's good. It's a good existential concept. Yeah.
The thing that I'm wondering too is, you know, what kind of brain development is your clone gonna have? Like, you clone yourself, or like the monkey, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna need to look at this a little bit further. But when they clone the monkey, is it a baby monkey that just needs to grow up as a monkey would? You know, it's a 6-year-old. Or, you know, the 6-year-old monkey is cloned from, and then you got an infant monkey with the same DNA, same
clone
everything.
Implies genetic, what the fuck is even the word? Genetic absolute the sameness.
Right.
It like genetic replication. It's like perfect. Like, it's not that, like, a clone of me age 33 years is going to be me. It's going to theoretically look like me, minus probably all the scars that I have incurred in my natural life. And, like, unless I upload, like, you know, whatever you do to train its mind, if you do nothing and then, like, have just, like, a, you know, like, in a coma its whole life, but it's fed and, like, I don't know, exercise, physical therapy, my vegetable clone, then it grows, then it's genetically me, but it's not me because it didn't go through all the things it went through.
You could technically raise yourself as a child then, I guess.
That would make sense. You could raise your generations of yourself, yeah.
That's weird.
There's actually a comic that I'm reading. Oh, I could do we can like plug things for other people. Whoa. I'm reading a comic called Lazarus, and it's Image Comics, and it's like in the near future, the government is like families, right? Like sort of like organized crime, if you will, but they're just like, it's like rich families are in charge, and then they have like serfs, and it's like, you know, people who work for them, and then there's the waste, and that's just the regular population. But like not all the families get along with each other, and when they like disagree and stuff, and also like in their regular like fighting, they have what they call Lazarus, and it's like a member of their like ruling family who's like genetically enhanced with all this shit, as well as their clones. So like they're constantly breeding new clones of these like warrior people of their family, to like, our family disagrees with your family over these like boundaries in this like, you know, island, settle it with a fight to the death. And so they have these warrior people, and like you come to find out that there are like successively bred children who are raised to become like this warrior. Like they're not the one that you're seeing in the comic is not the first one, and like you learn more about it. And like she's associating with her younger clone self without being aware that they are themselves.
That's weird.
It's a real good comic.
Interesting. What's it called again?
Lazarus. Because like they can die and then be like rebooted back to life. They can incur like massive blood loss, and they just don't die. They come back. It's a good one. Who writes it? Greg Rucka, maybe? I can't even see it. Can you see it over there?
Yeah.
Greg Rucka. He has a really, really good afterword where he talks about politics and all kinds of pertinent stuff. And, it's a concurrently running comic it's coming out right now. So he's had a lot to say about the political climate and technology advances. And, I don't know. I sort of look to that for some good educational material, or like to point me in some new music or literature. Comic books. Comic books is later. We'll talk forever about comic books. What was next? What did she have?
Actually, that does provide a very nice segue into the use of superpower thing that you were talking about earlier.
Comic book superpowers, man. You've been thinking about it since then?
I have been thinking a little bit about it. I think a useless superpower,
like from Mystery Men, fucking Keenan. Is Keenan or Kel? I think it's Kel. He can only turn invisible when no one's looking. Right. So, like, that has a use. If there's no one around, you're invisible all you want. But then what's no one? Is it, like, no human being, no like, fly or ant or animal can notice, like, be aware of my physical existence? I no longer have the power to be invisible. Like, what's the connotation of useless, then, right? Useless superpower, as opposed to useless power?
Yeah. I mean, people like us, we find useless shit useful all the time. Pick stuff out of the garbage and turn it into something useful. So it's like, it's difficult to think of things that have absolutely no use to them.
My brain you just said we find use in useless things. We find useless things useful, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
I saw something on the internet, and they were saying, if you never thought about it, 99% of infomercial ads are for disabled people.
I saw that. And I thought that was very interesting.
I had never thought about it before, but it makes way more sense than it should. And it kind of like changes the whole thing. Why do you need such a sharp knife that can cut through anything? Oh, because like you're weak. Like,
right.
Like, why do you need the extendo grabber? Like, why do you need the ShamWow? Why can't you just regular chamois a thing? Because your ankles, things like that. You're weak. Physically disabled, Parkinson's, things of that nature.
When I read that, I was thinking about all the times that I'd laughed at the stupid guy in the commercial, the dad who drops the whole bag of groceries on the ground or whatever coming out of the van, and I felt a little bad, like
right.
You
like,
see him, and
it's
now. Like, oh, that's not stupid dad. That's being marketed to.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I don't know. I guess I'm constantly amazed at the levels of reality that I'm not aware of.
Absolutely.
Peeling back of the onion, if you will.
And you ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different ways to navigate that too. Everybody's got a different way to look at that kind of stuff. But then it's interesting when something that, it's like that. Oh, it seems so obvious now, but I never thought of it before.
Yeah. It's hard to go back and think of. It's hard to go back and think of how you didn't see something once you see a thing.
Yeah, like a twist at the end of a movie.
Yeah. Maybe my brain is going towards more like... I don't know, I guess now my brain is thinking of like when you're driving down the road and you're like, oh, that's totally a hitchhiker on the side of the road. But really it was like a tree and a bag that are like hundreds of yards away from each other.
Yeah.
And then there's no way you can see that again, because your perspective has changed. And I guess just like in a movie, your perspective has changed now that you know, because there's no way to erase that knowledge. And like, it makes me think of, we used to live with this kid, and he would watch the movie Friday like every day, and he would laugh at all the jokes the same way, like he had never seen it before.
It was a new experience for him.
I didn't understand. It was like, how could the brain erase that? I guess you could get like blackout drunk, watch a movie. It was fun, and then you watch it again. But he wasn't drinking. It was power. That was a superpower.
That was a useless superpower. Forget every movie you see.
To never remember the movies that you see, so that they're good. Jeez, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody did that when they were a kid. You know, they had their one favorite movie when they were a kid.
Oh, sure, dude. Like hanging out with little children.
Sure.
Watch fucking Peter Pan 1,000 times.
What was your movie you watched a million times growing up back to back? I think that one of mine for a while was Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, sure, definitely. Lady and the Tramp. I mean, you can't say no to all those Disney movies because of our age. We were like prime to catch all those Disney movies as they rolled out. I mean, I remember owning Jurassic Park and like often being too scared to watch it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, so when Jurassic Park came out, they were re-showing Snow White in the theater, and we went to this theater, and it just had 2 theaters, and I remember sitting there before the movie started, like checking my ticket, checking the door. I want to make sure I'm not in Jurassic Park movie theater because that's too scary. I was too young. It was really scary.
I feel like I more remember like being scared of things in movies than I remember like watching a movie a whole bunch. It was like my favorite movie. Like I don't know. I remember I had it was like a movie. I had the Gargoyles interactive DVD game.
Oh,
it was
from
like
the cartoon?
It was like a board game.
Oh, cool.
But then you had to like press play on the DVD or skip forward to the certain thing depending on your move. I remember watching that a lot, playing that a lot. That reminds me, it was like those Build Your Own Adventure books.
Sure, yeah,
but it had a video.
That's cool.
Build Your Own Adventure movie that you went to the theater to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we've talked about that before a little bit.
Yeah, but then
how would you do it? You'd have to have like VR goggles or something, and you would all go to experience the same thing, and then depending on your choice, a certain like maybe like the audience would vote on what happens. Like, oh shit, what's about to happen? You push the button, and then it cuts to the audience that's chosen that scene, which is going to require actors to do much more filming. But then like I would pay twice as much to go to one of those movies that I have control over. You're like does he deactivate the bomb or does he save the girl? Like depending on what's going on in your life, maybe you're like, I need romance in my life, and you go for that romantic ending of saving the girl, and the bomb changes the ending of the movie. Or you're like, this is an action movie, you know, like and no need to save no woman, and then you go to the bomb and like you totally should have saved the woman, or like you know, so then you have to go back to the movie. You go to the movie multiple times to get all the different endings out of it.
See, Hollywood, you better take notes on this.
It's not a bad idea. I don't know, but then you could just like torrent all those different endings. But then where's the technology to do that at home? I mean, someone would immediately start making that stuff.
I heard somebody talking about downloadable content and talking about that in relation to like what if they applied it to other mediums besides video games. You know, like a movie. Like you go and you can sit down and watch the regular movie, but then if you want to pay an extra $2, you get to see, you know, the happy ending. You get to pay $5 extra, you get to see the alternate ending with the you know, planets blowing up and stuff. But I think that idea, you know, makes you're in charge of what you want to see. Exactly. You know, if you watch a movie and you didn't like it, it's partially your fault now.
Sure, I mean, I think it's tough. You either want to know about the movie when you go to see it, or you don't want to know anything about it and you go to see it.
Right.
It's like, oh, I don't want to know anything and I didn't like it.
That's how
you took it on yourself by choosing to go and knowing that you might not like it. If you research it and you're like, oh, no, don't want to see that, why would you go see it then? And waste your money. You know, you're like, oh, I heard it might be good, and then you go, it wasn't good. You take that chance. You can't be mad at a bad movie if you know that it's a bad movie.
I like going into movies blind. Like we watched Mother the other day. You had recommended it to me, and I never saw a preview. I never read a thing about it. I had heard the name thrown around, but we were sitting down, me and Francie were sitting down to watch it, and she said, well, what kind of movie is this? A horror movie? I don't know. And you know, it makes the experience a little bit, you know, you don't go into it with such a preconceived notion. But at the same time, you know, I'm sure that I miss out on a lot of movies just because I don't watch trailers and stuff like that. You know, because I don't keep up on you know, that kind of stuff. And I just really only watch movies when they're recommended highly to me.
Sure, there's definitely, I mean, all I have to do is go to Netflix and be amazed at how many objectively bad movies are produced for thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars. Like, people are making terrible movies and people are going and watching those movies. People watch bad movies Some people go to movies just to go to movies.
Some people go to see all the movies
just to do it. Yeah. It's like what did I read about the other day on the internet? There's a website for people who watch anime where they can clock the hours of anime that they've logged.
Well, that's gotta
and the
be
shows that they've watched. And it's like a weird, like, sort of like, you respect the person more for having more hours because their taste is that much more cultivated. But at the same time, you have so many hours of anime, you're probably like not the most cultured person.
Yeah.
Like all you do is watch anime. Like that's not that informed of an opinion about, like all you know is anime. Like, that's good.
A lot of anime is
there.
Like we typically once a year watch the whole Dragon Ball series, and there's a lot of hours of that are there's nothing going on.
It's bad. Yeah, but like the notoriety of like, oh shit, that guy's watched all of the anime. Like, oh well, I watch all the movies. Like,
right.
It's like a sense of self-satisfaction or like keeping current. Like,
there's a thing too of when after you log a certain amount of hours doing something, you see it a little bit differently. The first time we watched Dragon Ball, I liked it, but then the fourth time, there's other things that I'm noticing, and maybe something that stands out that I want to show somebody who's never seen it before. Oh, have you seen Dragon Ball Z? Oh no, I don't really like it. No, you got to check this out. And I like the Grateful Dead, like those people like anime, and if there's a lot of people that listen to the Dead have that kind of like cult thing about it, where it's so you hear like one person mention a line from a song or something, and then it starts a whole conversation. There's a thing of you do like comic books. You could do the same thing with comic books, like we were just talking about. You see things in there that I wouldn't necessarily, because you've logged more hours doing that than me. And then that enables you to suggest comics to me that I would have no idea about that are awesome.
Sure. Everyone is looking for different things in the media that they enjoy. In comics, like the things that strike me are generally storyline and art. I mean, I guess that's really all you have in the comic, right? Like, well, that's not true. You've got like, what is the paper that it's printed on? What does your cover look like? Those are all like super important things, and they like matter in like the production, or if a comic even continues to get made because like, oh, we spent too much money making this fucking comic, like with the paper is too nice. Different things drop different people to different mediums. Like I have a lot of image comics because those are creator owned. Specifically, it's a creator owned brand. Much more image than I have Marvel and DC. Not that those aren't good companies with like much more material to read, but lots of that stuff is like, I don't know, not interesting to me. The storylines and the image stuff is much more popping.
It seems to me the image comics that you've suggested to me to read, like the Manhattan Project, for example, awesome. And that's a storyline and kind of a concept that I've never seen in a lot of the superhero based comic companies, like like you're saying, DC, Marvel.
Well, I think that a lot of the newer comics coming out of these places like Image or Dynamite Comics, Boom, they don't have 50 years of character backstory that you have to dive into. They're like, this is what's going on. Boom, first issue of the first comic, like you're already set up, as opposed to like, oh shit, this is Superman. He's like,
right, you got
which Superman, which maybe. Earth are we on? Like what are we in the golden age of Superman? Like where's the story set? Like there's like a lot to cram into like a notorious character. I just had you start reading Astro City. That's been going since '95. There's so much of it. Like there's a lot of stories about those characters, but they all like are tethered in a large universe, but not so proliferated with like so much detail.
Right, and the thing about that is it still deals with superheroes, but there isn't a whole bunch of expectation of like, if you see Superman, he's got to pretty much do this, unless it's a one-off, and then it's like, oh, remember that one-off thing. They can create their own universe without being tied to, like you're saying, all that backstory and all that other stuff.
I mean, and a lot of that backstory goes into comic sales, and like, oh, you know, here's our big yearly event, and like now this yearly event has like created these things, and like, oh no, we just did this stuff for 10 years, and now we have all these conflicting stories, and like now we need to do another big event to like retcon a bunch of stuff, and it gets really, it's so convoluted. Like, I haven't even made my way into it yet. Sounds like some sort of sawing out there.
Somebody sawing.
Maybe if the doors closed, it'd be less sawy. I don't know, the windows, and it doesn't really matter. I guess if we keep talking,
yeah, I'm not trying to disguise the fact that somebody's sawing on our place.
Sawing. There's wood to be sawed here. Shit. What's another thing that Sarah said? All the way back to Sarah. She's talking about.
Oh, actually, before we go on with that, we can thank Sarah because she, I believe, took the photo that's going to be the thumbnail for this podcast.
That's right. She did. She's an excellent photographer.
Excellent photographer.
You don't need to hire a photographer. Her name's Sarah Joy.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Shout out, Sarah.
Get at us for those deets. She's got articles linking the flu to the heart attacks. I don't know about that. The dollar is dropping. I don't know about that. Oh, the Guggenheim.
Oh, yeah.
Trump asked the Guggenheim for the Van Gogh for status, and they said no, but we'd like to offer you the solid gold toilet instead. And I think that's amazing on many levels.
I think it's great. First of all, it's kind of surprising to me that he didn't take it. Or maybe he's already got one. You know,
I would think that he has one, and like, I don't know. I was reading something about it, and they were saying that like, if he says no, then he understands that not only has he been snubbed, but like that some things are worth more than status.
Sure.
Like, which is why he's denied the painting in the first place. And like the article went in depth about the guy that made the gold toilet. It's not like a fancy like super swankety toilet. It's like a run of the mill like at the YMCA toilet, like a whole fully functional regular toilet. It's not like gold plated or anything. A lot of commentary about like the waste of Americans, but like of all the things that you could offer him, like to even have a gold toilet laying around is like pretty amazing considering how gold filigreed his life is.
Right.
You know, I think it's fucking hilarious.
I do too. I think you should do it.
People were talking. Oh, from my friend Jen wanted to know what do we think is the best cake frosting combo.
Oh boy.
And why? And I said that's a fucking pretty good question because there's so many cakes out there. When I was a kid, I think my favorite cake was lemon cake. It's like a lemon, like a white cake with the lemon in it. It's real good. Now, I feel like I don't eat a lot of cake, and a lot of cake has too much frosting on it.
Sure.
Cream cheese frosting is really good frosting.
I always used to like, when I was growing up, I would get the chocolate cake with the chocolate frosting.
Classic.
That's too much for me.
Too much
nowadays, that would hurt my teeth. Cake. I really like cheesecake, but, there's some people that would contest that that's not really cake, because
Sure. I mean, I like strawberry shortcake a lot.
Strawberry shortcake.
But I feel like the whipped cream and the strawberry compote isn't necessarily like. Do you frost a strawberry shortcake?
I think it's up to you.
Yeah.
I don't think traditionally.
Oh man, when I was a kid, my mom would make angel food cake with like the bundt cake with like the circle in the middle of the cake, and then she'd make this white frosting that went on it. But there'd always be extra white frosting, and then you take the extra frosting and you put it in between graham crackers, and that was better than the cake. But yeah, maybe that is my favorite cake: white angel food cake with the white frosting that my mama makes.
Yeah.
Cake is good.
Cake is tight. I don't like pancakes, though.
Pancakes? Some pancakes are really good. Nice, thin Swedish pancakes. You put applesauce or sugar on it, powdered sugar. Real good.
I've also heard that those Japanese pancakes are real good. The real thick ones, like 2-inch thick, fluffy pancake. I don't know. I need to try it before I decide.
Someone wanted to know about flight velocities of swallows, and I feel like that's too easy.
Google
that.
Check it out on Google.
Yeah, we haven't had to Google anything yet. Tobacco, benefits of tobacco, smoke a lot of tobacco. Benefits and deficits of big tobacco. I mean, what are the benefits of big tobacco?
Big tobacco gets more money.
I mean, they what are the benefits of big tobacco?
I mean, I suppose you could say something like regulation. When you get in a pack of smokes and it comes from Marlboro, you know what you're going to get.
That's true. We don't get our packs of smokes from there.
No, we don't.
But we know what we're getting.
We do. That's
still
true.
Regulated.
Truth be told, though, I feel like there's a bit of inconsistency with the tobacco that we get. We get what I guess we could shout out two daughters.
Oh yeah, Daughters and Ryan. Yeah, the company's Daughters and Ryan. 3 sales.
And if anybody there hears about this and wants to throw us a sponsorship, we would gladly take it.
We'll hype your tobacco every time. I mean, I've been telling people for years. If anybody's listening, I tell you right now that if you would like to buy cheap, decent tobacco for a good price, that we've been doing for 3 years, I think, maybe less, maybe more. Go to pipesandcigars.com. You look up Ryback, Ryback, and you type that in and it'll pop up Ryback Gold. And then you can get a pound of that stuff for like, I don't know.
Under $30.
Under $30. And it's like a fine shag cut, very similar to American Spirit. I often give it to people that smoke American Spirit and they can't tell the difference. But you're getting a pound for under $30, and a can of Spirit is more than $30, and that's a third of a pound. So a pound of American Spirit in the store is anywhere from $90 to more than $100, and a pound of this tobacco is under $30. Pipesandcigars.com. Ryback Gold.
Not sponsored by them, but
or free sales. Yeah, definitely recommend it. No reason to waste a bunch of money trying to kill yourself with cigarettes.
Yeah, and I think that you were saying that the people, the Daughters and Ryan, it's a very small company.
The last time I looked, I was like trying to find out company information, and I think that I saw that like seven listed employees on like some like monster.com website or something like that, and that they only make a couple $1 million a year.
Yeah, so you don't need big tobacco.
That's right, you don't. What's a benefit? I don't know. Maybe if it hadn't been for big tobacco, there wouldn't be regulations which keep people healthier.
Does it really though?
Does it really? I don't know. I mean, some people are pretty fierce about the truth campaigns and all that stuff.
That's true. I mean, it's when I was growing up, they told me that it wasn't good for me.
Yeah, I knew that.
No surprises there, but you know, the big companies, I don't know.
It's easy to toss out statements like, yeah, capitalism is shitty. Like, we could see that there's negative effects of that. I don't know. I'm talking to you on microphones, maybe not produced in a capitalist country, you know, doing all this, creating a podcast to be listened to on like capitalist websites.
Sure.
You know, like keeps the machine. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship, you know, some free stuff, you know, but then we get the free stuff to hype other people, get their stuff, more sales, capitalism. Like, it's not bad. Maybe it is bad.
Maybe it is bad.
We benefit from it, so why would we think it's bad?
It's hard to think about not living in a society that's run that way.
Sure, done it our whole lives.
I don't really know anybody, or I suppose I haven't talked in depth about this with anybody from countries that don't quite operate like that. But I would be curious to know what, I'd be curious to know somebody's experience living in a country that's not such a capitalist monster. Yeah, this is the first time that we're doing this, so there's going to be a couple bugs to work out.
Yeah, because we don't know.
We don't know.
We're not professionals.
Yeah, not professionals. But yeah, thanks for everybody that chimed in with some questions. You know,
yeah,
you can keep them coming if you want to hear some more of this stuff. You can check out our social media pages, whatever. Facebook, all that stuff.
Yeah, next time maybe we'll like say what day it is, and maybe it'll come at a more routine thing. It will become more scheduled.
I'd be into maybe trying to do this at least once a week to start, unless we have something burning desires.
Yeah, I think we have enough time once a week to do it. So yeah, y'all should keep giving us good ideas.
Yeah,
because not everybody talks about all the good things, and we can
talk about some things to the best of our ability. Yeah,
we could talk about anything.
Yeah, or nothing.
We could definitely talk about nothing.
I could talk a lot about nothing.
So that's our outro, huh?
I guess. Yeah. If pop a like or a thumbs up, subscribe, however that's going to go.
Is that what happens?
We'll see.
Where does this go?
I think we'll put it up on YouTube. Maybe get people to
is
check
there
it out
pictures?
There. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I guess I've never watched anything on YouTube that I didn't have pictures.
Yeah, there'll be some photo. Yeah, at least a background picture and references.
Maybe every time we said everybody's names that we said, we could like put the picture of them up.
Yeah, if like Sarah, if she's got
she does
a page or something, we could put the link in the description down there.
Yeah, you guys. And we'll link this to that original post where I asked about ideas, to reference back to all the people that gave them to us. And it's a work in progress. Next week could be up to twice as better.
Yeah, that's right.
Or good, depending on what you want to call it.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.